Enchanting and captivating, soulful yet powerful, all in one. We're talking about MIRAYA VARMA's vocal prowess. A prodigy of sorts, she has been performing since the age of 3 and writing music since 11. Based out of Bahrain and Canada, she is a versatile vocalist who has sung in over 6 languages in different genres and has had several world chart toppers to her credit. She has made her foray into Bollywood, working alongside prominent Indian musicians and artists from the entertainment industry. We are so honored to welcome MIRAYA VARMA, an international recording artist, singer, songwriter, model and actress. Thank you, MIRAYA, for taking the time to sit down with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Would you like to talk to us about your early childhood and what got you started into music?
My mom, she's a musician as well. She's a singer. And so I watched her perform from a very young age. And so music's always been in our family in terms of singing, dancing. She's also a dance teacher, so she ran a dance school. So this was just something that I was sort of born with. And I think I get it from my mom. So, and from a young age, she would introduce me to different musicians, different artists. And that's when I was introduced to Michael Jackson for the first time and I fell in love at 8 months old. Yeah. So that's how it started. And I've been performing since I was 3 years old. And first I started with dance, and then after that I started singing and doing performances, and then it just went from there, and I knew I loved it. From the moment I set foot on stage, this was it for me.
So you write songs alone, or you have co-writers with you?
I write my songs alone, so most of the songs that I've written, lovely, like the composition of it, or like any songs that I've written, it's all been my own, like where I write songs, but I do collaborate with other artists. So let's say Yella Yella, Dr. Zeus was the one who did the music, and so we collaborate in terms of working with other producers. And then I think Fateh did the rap in Yella Yella. So lovely as well. So I did the Arabic part, Zeus did the music part with Vishal Dadlani and Shaker. And then we had Fateh again in the rap. So we do collaborate, but we do our part. So I rap my own in terms of maybe no one wants me the way that I am as an English song that I did. That was all me. So yeah, so I do write my music, but I also collaborate in terms of working with other producers. And there's a song coming out right now. I collaborated with another female artist. And she's absolutely amazing, and I love her to bits. It's a beautiful woman empowering song, and in that she did the Punjabi bit and I did the Arabic bit. So yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. So what does songwriting mean to you personally?
For me, songwriting, since I was a kid, and like I said, since I've been on stage, for me, I've always been this kind of person, like I think it's an Aries thing, I'm not sure, but I've always been this kind of person where I'm not able to let people know my real emotions. I always sort of put that in terms of not giving in to be weak or something like that. I was always told to be strong, you know, like you have to be strong, you have to be strong. You can't be weak, you can't show your emotions. So for me, songwriting was something that I did for me to be able to express myself, you know, my emotions, my journey. As a kid, I was bullied because of my race, my culture, it's different things like that. So for me, songwriting was to be able to express those emotions. Nobody will ever see those emotions straight ahead, but they will definitely see that in my music, you know? So I think that was a way for me to be able to let that go and just show that side of me, that vulnerability. That was the only way to express myself, you know? So yeah, so songwriting is definitely like a reflection of my emotions through music.
Nice. So are there any musicians or songwriters who inspire you then?
Michael Jackson? Definitely Michael Jackson. He's, I always say this in every interview of mine, and I still don't get bored saying the story. But when I was a kid, when I was about 8 months old, my family introduced me to Michael Jackson, different album, like Dangerous album, Thriller album. And they said that I wouldn't eat my baby formula until I watched his music, until I watched his songs. And I think even I knew what music meant to me at that age, even though I was not able to talk, but I knew I loved Michael Jackson, I loved his music. And so I think for me, that like the way he would write his music also related to me. He would talk about important issues like Let's Heal the World. That was one of the songs that he talked about. He talked about racism, black or white. He talked about many things, different things. And I think for me, that resonated with me as a songwriter, that I also wanted to write music and things like that. And so I wanted to raise important awareness on important issues like mental health, for example. And I did a song on mental health. And I want to do more music related to things like that. I don't want to just do club songs and things like that. I want to be able to, you know, send a message to people. You know, everyone has some sort of insecurities, or some people are battling with things like mental health. I want people to know that it's okay. It's not just you. There are many people, you know, going through the same thing that you're going through, and you're not alone. You know, so I think we heard about Liam Payne the other day. So you don't know what someone's going through, right? So as an artist, I want to be able to not just make songs, you know, as just to have fun with, but also touch somebody emotionally, even if it's about love or about something as sensitive as mental health.
Nice. So what genres of music do you specialize in?
So I'm South Indian by roots, so obviously Tamil, Malayalam is kind of like my first language. But for me, English is also my first language, you know, because of the way I was, where I grew up. You know, I didn't grow up in India. I was born out of and raised out of India. So I think English is definitely my first language. So I like blending different cultures. Arabic, because obviously the Middle East, you know, it's part of who we are. And being here for so long. So the Arab culture mixed with the Indian and English, the hip hop culture, I like to blend those genres in and write my music. So all the songs that I've been releasing, that's what I've been doing. I remember meeting an artist called Bohemia. I don't know if you know him, but he's a Punjabi artist. I remember meeting him, and I said to him, so when we were talking about music, he said to me, so the same question you just asked me, so what's your genre? Because you seem like you're a mix of everything. And I said to him, you know, I hadn't released a song yet. And so I said, this is what I'm going to do. And he was like, that's pretty unique, you know, blending in different languages and blending in different genres. And I was like, yeah, you got to make it organic. Otherwise, there's no point. You have to make it as natural as possible. And yeah, I felt like I could resonate and relate to different cultures. And I'm so glad I'm able to do that, because, you know, it's part of who I am. It's who I am. And when I write that, it just makes more sense to me to be able to express myself, not just about different things, but also in different genres. And I think that's pretty interesting for me, at least.
Okay. So you've also worked with famous, you know, artists from the Bollywood industry. So what was it like working with them, like Vishal Shekhar, Honey Singh, and even Dr. Zeus?
So, yeah, Dr. Zeus is amazing. He's I remember I was studying in the UK. I was in college. I was in the UK. That's when I was introduced to Dr. Zeus first. So I was still, you know, I was a kid at that time. I was still in school. It was like, you know, coming out fresh in college. So I knew him for a while now. It's been 10 years, and yeah, 10 years now, pretty long time. So he knew that this was something that I did. He loved the fact that I blended these different genres and things like that. And so he's the reason that Lovely happened. You know, he saw something in me, and even now he you know, we plan on working together more. He's absolutely amazing, and I have so much respect for him, because he's the one who gave me that break and introduced me and said, you got to do this. And then when I sent the vocals in for Lovely, he said, oh, that's it, we're doing this. And I think when that happened, that was like the moment that sort of maybe changed my life in some ways, because a lot of people got to know me. You know, Honey Singh contacted me through his manager, and he wanted to work with me. And so a lot of people were approaching me to work with me, and I was just young. I didn't know what was going on. And I think that was really, really cool. And I'm always going to be grateful to Dr. Seuss for that. Vishal and me worked together on Lovely. And I don't remember another. I think we were supposed to work on another song, but that didn't really work out. But yeah, a lot of artists like that, like even with Honey, we were meant to work together as well. But again, sometimes the things don't work out. You know, there's you know, he's busy in his album, I've got my album, and sometimes certain songs don't work out, you know, even though you want it to. So I think, yeah, so I worked with but I'm happy to know all these people, and I've had the pleasure to obviously work with them, to know them as artists, and I have only praise for all of the people that I've actually worked with.
Nice, that's wonderful to know. And what are the challenges that you faced in your career, and how did you overcome them?
Challenges are still there. You know, the biggest challenge is obviously being in the entertainment industry as a woman, I would say is one of the biggest challenges. And not being in, like, for example, you have to be, if you're a musician, like you're an Indian musician, you have to be in India, you know, to make things work. I think that's very important because I remember someone saying to me, out of sight, Mariah, out of mind. So if you're not there, it's very difficult for things to work out. But I also think like it's very challenging also being a woman in the entertainment industry. I'm not getting into too much detail, but sometimes you're put in very awkward positions where you have to choose certain projects, or because they decide to go the other way because you're not ready to, you know, it's more, for them, it's not just about your vocal skills, but it's more than that. So sometimes you have to put a stop. And so I think, you know, you have to have a very thick skin for that. It's very difficult. And for people like me who grew up, you know, very close with their family and who are very family oriented, it's so difficult for us to be able to accept what we just want to work. I just want to sing. That's it. I don't want anything more than that. But I think like sometimes it becomes very challenging in terms of people putting you in an awkward position. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges for a woman, you know. A lot of people have come out and said and addressed those challenges. It's out there. And I think that is one. And second thing is obviously nepotism. I think that is probably also one of the biggest challenges where people like me have to hustle, but it comes off easy for other people because they're related to somebody famous. So yeah, I think these two are probably the biggest challenges. And I think you have to, like I said, you have to have a very thick skin. And you need to just say, you know what, it doesn't matter, keep your head strong, focus on your goals and keep going. And one day, just leave it to God, and you know what's going to happen for you. And you know your time is going to come because you have to believe in yourself. You got the talent, you got the skills. It's going to happen, and that's it. So you need to just keep your goals focused and just keep moving forward. And I think you have to be able to overcome those challenges and just move on stronger, and then just leave it to God at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But if it wasn't for your, you know, music career, what would you be doing right now?
So I have education is something that I'm very interested in. So my grandma is also a teacher, and my mom too. And so I think like for me, being able to empower kids, if not through music, to be their role model in terms of being able to let them know that they're beautiful, they're strong, you know, help them with their confidence, you know, because a lot of kids, especially when they're young, if they've gone through anything, I've been through a lot, you know, as a child growing up. So if they've been through like bullying and different things like that, I think to be able to help them, mold them, and make sure that, you know, they grow up and they understand that they're beautiful and they're strong and it's okay. I think that is something that I would really like to, and I'm still doing it. Miraya Academy is something that I own in Bahrain. This academy is all about music and art and dance and things like that. As a musician, I wanted to share, I wanted to let kids have that as well. For example, like when I was growing up, like learning how to paint or, you know, being an artist or music, it was very frowned upon. Being a 90s baby, I think everyone at the time was like, no, doctor, engineer, that's it. It's always these two of these things, right? And I didn't like that. I was like, as a child, I didn't like it at all. I wanted like everyone to enjoy that. Listen, it's okay. You can be a scientist or you can be a musician. It's okay, you know? And so when I started Miraya Academy, I wanted to have a place where academia was equal to creative art. And you want to be a scientist, great. But also if you want to be a musician, that's okay too. And I wanted a place where they were able to find out their skills and talents early. So we start introducing that like music and art and dance and things like that at a very early age. So if you're learning music or if you're learning dance, you're learning English too, so it's okay. And I think this is a place where kids are able to learn both of it. And yeah, we are trying to encourage them as much as possible, and it's amazing because you know, kids don't realize what they're good at unless, you know, they just suddenly discover that, hey, I might be good at that, and maybe they're 8 or 9 when they discover that. I don't want that. I want them to discover it as early as possible. So that's what Miraya Academy is pretty much about, you know. And if I wasn't a musician, I would still be doing this.
Okay, yeah. That's good to know, yeah. So you play instruments other than anything else other than the piano?
I play the keyboard and the piano, yeah, and I love it. I don't play any other instruments. I haven't even tried playing any other instruments. I think for me, the piano and keyboard was something I was introduced to at a very young age. And the first song I ever played, again, my dad introduced me. My dad introduced me to a lot of artists like the Beatles and Bee Gees and the Carpenters and things like that. But he also introduced me to Lionel Richie. And I remember the first song that I ever played was Hello by Lionel Richie because my dad introduced me to it. So I was very young. And I think and then the second song was Careless Whisper, yeah. So for me, I was so drawn to the keyboard and to the piano at such a young age. And then my dad introduced me to Yanni. Absolute genius. He's such an amazing musician. So I think that's what drew me to piano and keyboard. And I think with songwriting, it literally helps you to, mold your melodies and your composition, and you get into this whole zone and being able to write music. And I think, yeah, keyboard and piano are but I'm more of a singer, but the keyboard and piano are definitely next to me being as a singer-songwriter. It helps me out when I make music.
Okay. So you're all set to release your Tamil album Araga Araga.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the making of the song in particular?
So Araga Araga is a song for my album. I would definitely like to talk about the album. It's an album about women empowerment, and I've done about 9 songs right now. I'm planning to add in 3 more songs. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the album. The album name is Miraya, which is my name because it's going to be my first album, and it's a mix of different languages like Tamil, Arabic, Hindi, Punjabi, English, Malayalam. It's got a blend of different languages, and it's all about women empowerment in different ways. So Araga Araga was a song about, I wanted to talk about the vulnerable side to women and how the girl loves the boy, and because usually we hear about guys loving the girls, or they're writing songs about a girl. The girl is beautiful, the girl is gorgeous, her eyes are pretty. And I wanted the song to be about, even if it's about feminism or woman empowerment, but also about the love that she has when she loves a guy. And I want to talk about that. And I think that's also so empowering when you talk about emotions, and she's talking about the guy and she loves the guy and she thinks he's absolutely beautiful. She's like, and it talks about how when a woman loves, she really loves. And I wanted to show that side to her. And then there's another song called Fire. And it's actually also one of my favorite songs in the album. And I want to do another language to it, which is Arabic into it. Why? Because I feel like it's one of the most powerful songs that I've written. This song is about the strength of a woman, like how women go through generations to generations. Women have been through so much, and the way they love their kids, the way they care for them, the way they take care of the house, the way they birth a child, everything together. So this is about that strength and that fire in her and how strong she is as a woman. So I think the song shows that different ways of how powerful a woman can be. So the song's name is Fire. So that is actually one of my favorites also in the album. And then we've got other songs as well as club tracks. Criminal, for example, is a song where, again, I wanted to be able to write songs where I could relate to everybody. So this song is about a girl who's very sweet and sensitive, and she likes this guy, but the parents are not happy with it. You do know how it is when a girl likes a guy and the parents are like, no, he's not good for you because he's a bad boy. And so this song is about how she likes him, she wants to be with him, but she knows he's not the right person. So different songs have that side to a girl showing her vulnerability, her strength, and it's all about women in different ways. And I think, so that's why this album is just so important to me, because every part of me has worked so hard in composing and writing, especially when it comes to doing it in different languages. It's very challenging. So I'm trying my best. And I hope that when it's out, that everybody enjoys it as much as I enjoy, writing them or making it for them.
Yeah, that's nice to know. So you said women empowerment and mental health awareness are the closest to your heart. You have any other issues that you feel strongly about and would like to showcase through your music?
Yeah, so different topics are there. Obviously, I want to address racism. I want to address bullying. I want to address things that actually people relate to or have felt insecure about, or things that body image. Also, a lot of people feel, I mean, I've had conversations where I said, oh, I wish I was skinnier. And then there's been a skinny person who say, no, 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 I wish I wasn't. So I think everyone struggles with their own body, you know, issues or things like that. So I want to address things where people can relate to it and let them know that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Yes, we have insecurities, but we're still beautiful in our own way. So I want to address things like that. And yeah, so more topics like that. Mental health, of course. I mean, when I released that song, No One Wants Me the Way That I Am, it talked about not being accepted as a person. So whether or not you're black, you're white, you got pimples on your face, or you're whatever race you are, I think everyone at that point, some point, has felt that they're not accepting me for who I am. So this song was literally about that. And I think, I'm not sure about the numbers now, but I think more than 52 million people are struggling with mental health, and we see that every single day. And so this song was sort of like a tribute to people who are struggling with mental health. For example, Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston, everybody, all of those amazing artists, they were huge. And they had so much going on for them, but at the end of the day, behind closed doors, they were suffering, they were struggling. And I think when Corona hit, COVID hit, I was in Canada, Toronto at the time, and I was without my family. And I was, you know, as an artist, we perform and everything just shut down for us. And so things started to get very difficult, and I lost myself at that point. And I wrote that song coming from a place of full of emotions and sadness and anger and, you know, just a very vulnerable side, which I didn't even know I had. My brother visited me in Toronto, and he was like, I don't even recognize you anymore. I was this happy, bubbly, like just such a person. Like I said, I'm an Aries, and we're always so confident, strong, and suddenly I was losing myself, and it took a while to pick myself up. But yeah, it can happen to anyone. Anyone, yeah. So people who knew me would never think that it happened with me, but it did. And I'm happy to talk about it now and raise that awareness. And I'm happy that there were two ways to do it: write a song about it, you know, raise awareness, or just go the opposite direction. I chose the first one, you know, I'm not going to choose the latter. And I thought, you know what, if it could hit one person, then I'm happy to do it, let's do it. And that's when the song came out.
Okay, yeah. So any advice for people, for youngsters who want to be like you know, what advice would you give them?
I would say if you have a goal and you know what you want to do, I think you should chase after it. You should keep your head strong. Don't let anybody tell you what you can do, because only you know what you can do. You're going to find a lot of people trying to pull you down. Don't ever give in. Be strong, keep your goal, keep your head focused, and just keep walking, not just walk, keep running towards your goal, and make sure that you never give up what you love, no matter what, for anybody. I think that's what I would say.
என்ன சிக்க வச்சானே, சிரிதா சிரிதா என்ன சிரிக்க வைப்பானே, மெலிதா என்னையும் இவன் பறிச்சு புட்டானே, மயங்கரனே உன் பார்வை பட்டாலே கிறங்கரனே, நீ என்ன தொட்டாலே தயங்கரனே, நீ கிட்ட வந்தாலே உன் காதல் சொல்லிட தேதி தள்ளிட ஏங்கி நிக்கறனே, அழகா அழகா ஒரு தோண்டில் போட்டானே, மெதுவா மெதுவா என்ன சிக்க வச்சானே, சிரிதா சிரிதா என்ன சிரிக்க வைப்பானே, மெலிதா என்னையும் இவன் பறிச்சு போட்டானே.
Thank you once again, Miraya, for being with us here today, and it was such a pleasure to have you. We at the News of Bahrain wish you the very best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, News of Bahrain, and thank you all so much for having me. I've really enjoyed having a conversation with you, Melanie. Thank you.